Hey there guys, in this video we're going to be going to the Purgatory Rush and we're going to be doing a speed clear. We're going to be killing this literally as fast as possibly can be done. Every single turn we are going to either kill a boss or push an HP lock, and that includes Leviathan, who has 90% mitigation for the first 4 turns. And because 4 turns is way too slow, we're going to ignore the mitigation, or should I say, we're going to overpower the mitigation and hit Leviathan so hard that we kill him even through his 90% mitigation. So, let's have some fun with this. So we're going to use Zahn to just guard. Sylvie will Thunder Imbue the party. My Esther is going to field. Human Killer and Human Killer and Voltage Spike, and then we're going to burst with the other 3 units. Now the reason we're using thunder damage, even though the boss is a fire stage, because Esther's Thunder in Peril is so high, it's actually better to use thunder here instead of fire or water, even on those stages. Yeah, 250 combined in Peril to Thunder is just, like, really good. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and Machine Killer with Zahn and spread that. And then the rest of the party can just reload and go again after autocasting does its thing. You know, my Esther is not getting that many burst turns in, but honestly, it's fine. We're not really worried about showing off my units. We're worried about getting a clear in. Okay, so because next turn most of our SLBs will be activated, we're going to not use any of the SLBs on Siren, and that's because I want to stagger them and make them reactivate on different bosses. So for this one, we're going to use Wilhelm to solo the boss. So we're going to use a lot of Magnuses and all to make that happen. So, yeah, a lot of SLBs ready to go. Autocasting, of course, as well. Okay, so Wilhelm will overdrive to make sure he gets this kill in. The friend Esther is going to 200 amplify, 300 killer, and voltage spike. One of the fundamentals will do triple bolting strike to break Mirage. Esther will imbue the party with thunder, and then double bolting to get rid of the boss's Mirage. Zahn will steal that killer from the friend, 90 break, and share that killer. Wilhelm will LB, and Sylvie will support chain with Wilhelm. And that's probably way more setup than we need for Siren, but Wilhelm is now killing Siren basically by himself. We only needed, I think, 10 billion for the sub-bosses, and we did 38. We overkilled by a chunk. Anyway, so this turn, we're going to use the SLBs of Fundamental and one of the Esters. Again, we're trying to stagger them so they properly line up for what we want to do on the final stage. So for this one, Zahn can just guard, Sylvie can Thunder Imbue. We're going to use mine to refresh the field, Human Killer, and Voltage Spike, and then the other 3 will burst. We're going to SLB the bottom row. There we go. And for the next fight, we're going to SLB my Esther, and that'll get all the SLBs perfectly lined up for what we want to do for the final boss. Okay, next up is the gate boss. So for this one, the friend Esther will use Voltage. Yeah, Voltage is that big Thunder in Perils. We're using that every single stage. It also does LB buff, stat buff, all that kind of stuff. Zahn can go ahead and put up the Machine Killer. Sylvie can do the Thunder Imbue. Friend can do Voltage. And then we burst the other party members. Okay, so next up is going to be Kokuryu. We don't have we don't have Dragon Killer for Kokoryu, and the boss has an HP lock. So, I mean, it's still going to be pretty easy, but this one, unfortunately, cannot be turn 1 kill. The best you can do is a turn 2 kill. But even so, it's going to be fine. Okay, so Zahn can just guard here. Sylvie can Thunder Imbue. We're going to overdrive with Wilhelm to make sure we push this. My Esther can do Voltage. Let's see here. You know, just to be absolutely sure, we will Voltage, and we'll do the 100 Amplify. This is honestly probably not needed, but whatever. And then we will Burst. Yeah, this is probably going to be massive overkill, but, you know, it can't hurt. Okay. Oh, yeah, we're good, And as far as the Petrify attack, because we pushed the threshold on this turn, there is going to be no Petrify attacks. We don't need Petrify resist. Sylvie does get Berserked, but we're not really worried about that. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and just Burst again. Zahn can just guard. Wilhelm's going to guard as well because he doesn't fill his LB gauge, but my Esther did fill hers. So here we go. And super easy. Okay, so next we go to the 2 machine bosses, which are going to, again, be pretty simple. Then we get the final boss. It gets very exciting then. Okay, so we're going to turn 1 kill these as well. Zahn can go back to Machine Killer. Sylvie can go back to Imbue Thunder. Let's see, Wilhelm will LB, Friend will, or you will LB, you will SLB, and then Friend will... just to be doubly safe, we're going to go ahead and do a rainbow on this one as well. So rainbow, let's Voltage, and then we can refresh the field, kind of whatever. And push this boss. Okay, yeah, that one's a little bit trickier because, again, we're focusing all our gear on Aqua Killer. So most of the party is not maxed on Machine Killer. We're not using fire damage, all that kind of stuff. But it was handled. Okay, this one's going to be pretty easy, because this one is naturally weak to Thunder, so... let's go ahead and get everything just reloaded. Come on. Okay, so we're just going to Voltage here. Voltage. Do their things. And kill this one. Now we get Leviathan. This is where it gets exciting. 90% mitigation. Leviathan is no joke. But we're going to hit him so hard that we overkill him by 10 times. Well, to the HP lock, I should say. But yeah, we're going to go for a turn 2 kill on this boss. We're going to HP lock on turn 1, kill on turn 2. We're completely ignoring that mitigation. Or bursting through the mitigation, I should say. Which is going to be tricky and hard to do. But... we've got a plan. So, after the auto-casting... okay, Wilhelm will overdrive. My Esther will do... not that. My Esther will 200 Amplify, Voltage, and 300 Killer. Now, Sylvie is going to imbue the party with Thunder, 400 stat buff on Zahn, and then just Clever for like 0.1% damage. Zahn is now going to steal the killer from my Esther, 90 break, and share the killers. Okay, so we're going to SLB Fundamental, SLB Esther, and then LB Wilhelm. Now, Wilhelm's using a greatsword, so we're going to click the bottom row and then Wilhelm. Now, for this, we're going to need a good variance roll because we're only using 3 damage dealers. Most of the party was doing setup on turn 1, So this is going to be very tricky to push this first threshold. The second turn should be a lot easier to kill because we can damage with both Esters. But this turn, only one Ester can really damage. So we need a respectable variance roll. If we get it, great. If we don't, I'll rerun the fight, cut the video, and jump back to the burst turn. But let's hope we get a good variance roll right here. So fingers crossed. 56%. Okay, I'm going to rerun the fight. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I might go to the pro version, which is only the final bosses, because I showed you that the first 8 bosses are super easy. The main thing of this is to show you a turn 1 kill or a turn 2 kill on Leviathan. So in order to save my sanity, instead of rerunning the first 6 bosses off camera, it might take 5 more runs to get a good variance roll. I'm going to jump to the pro version because the bosses are exactly the same. The stats are the same, etc. The only thing is it's only the final 3 instead of the first 6 as well. So in order to save my time, I'm going to jump to pro. We're going to jump right back to Leviathan, and I'm going to run it enough times until I get a good roll. The stupid thing is I already did it off camera in a test run, and I wasn't recording. I really regret that. So yeah. Now I'm doing it again, and of course variance is not cooperating. So see you on that turn in just a moment. Alright guys, let's try another variance roll. There it is. Alright, that definitely took longer than I would have liked, but wow, 10 billion and 19. You needed 10 billion to push the threshold. We barely did it. But hey, that's good enough. And the second one's going to be so much easier because we're going to have lots of DPS for the second one. Yeah, so Wilhelm counters 5 times guaranteed. That's 25 LB fill. Everyone's got 5 or more auto regen. And then Sylvie is going to fill the rest of the LB gauge. So Sylvie now triple clevers. That filled everyone back up. And now we have Zahn do his SLB, and our other Esther can go in. And there's our 2-turn Leviathan clear. Man, it took like 15 tries to get a freaking, to get a kill. The stupid thing is, I got the kill, like I think I said previously, yeah, I did it in a test run on like the second try. And then it took me like 10 or 15 retries to do it again. Like, wow, what a pain. What a pain. So that needs a really high variance roll. And keep in mind, you know, we went to pro, but they have the exact same stats between pro and elite. The only difference is on the reruns, I didn't have to go and do like 6 useless bosses. Anyway, let me show you the gear for doing that. So Sylvie is using... This is not intended as a guide, this is just a show-off video, so we're using limited gear and all. Seraph Staff, because on turn 1, Leviathan does a single target stone attack, so our Provoker needs Petrify immunity. Other than that, nothing else really matters, honestly. Like passive Provoke, obviously. And Lightning Fast Legend. And we gave her this, actually we don't need it, just because I forgot that Esther's Voltage attack, Great Sword and Perils, so there you go. Zahn is geared for Aqua Killer. He only does damage to the Aqua boss, but there it is. He has all the leftover stuff. Max out Aqua Killer, and there we go. Fundamental Force is maxed out on Aqua Killer and some others as well. I'll show you the gear. There we go. Machine Killer, not that big a deal because we've got Zahn's, 250 Killer, and then the machine bosses are pretty easy regardless. The only one that really matters is Aqua. Everything else is a joke. The only for doing it this way. So there we go, and I went ahead and made the High Celestite Crown for extra stats, because this is a hard thing to do. A lot of chain speed, and there we go, and I gave her the Cog card. Esther, my Esther. Now my Esther is geared slightly weaker, because she's not bursting on the hardest turn of all, which is the first turn of Leviathan. So she got leftover gear, so whatever. But there it is. We're maxed out on Aqua Killer, and everything else is, as good as we can get. So there we go. Aqua, Machine is maxed, Dragon is maxed, Human is maxed. She actually doesn't damage on the bird fight. So yeah, I mean, she gears really easily anyway. Wilhelm is actually really high damage here because we need him to burst on turn 1. So he gets the Great Sword, and then all the Clash gear. Because with the Great Sword, he actually outdamages Fundamental Force. So there we go. There's his setup. A lot of chain speed. And again, the primary thing we care about is Aqua Killer. And he's on Leviathan with Aqua Overkiller. And notice the whole party has 5 or better auto LB fill. And there we go. So he's a little bit lower on the other killers. But again, we went all in for Aqua. And here's the friend. D-Berry set me a custom friend. So this Esther has, again, all the Epine gear, chain speed, Guardian of Kyrie for the 5 LB per turn. You could, of course, use a high-class dagger instead. And then a good card. And then, again, she's on Overkiller for Leviathan. And, whoo, there it is. We have killed the trial literally as fast as possible. So as you say, 13 billion on the second clear. We only needed 10, we did 13 because we had more DPS. But that burst in Leviathan on turn 1, that is not easy to do. But we got it done. We got it done. There's an example. And again, for the reruns, for chasing variants, I did it on Pro just to give the bosses. The stats are exactly the same. I showed you how to do the first 6 bosses in the start of the video. But yeah, that was, I want to say it was fun to figure out. It was not fun to rerun variants for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just to make a video. That was like, at that point, it's because I knew I could do it. I did it in a test run on the 2nd try, and I wasn't recording. So then I went for the recording, and like I kept failing the variant. Like I got so many like 51%, and I'm like, I know I can do it. We're gonna run it again. We're gonna run it, and I got, oh man, I was here for so long. But we did it. Okay, now I can focus on these series boss battles because I got really hung up on this wanting to do it. And it wasted a lot of time. But we did it. Okay, I will see you guys for series boss battles in the future.